Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It has been 7 months since I purchased this lovely watermelon Dischidia, also be called Dischidia Ovata. It's so cute. I know when I bought it, it's already a quite full basket, but now after growing season, it's amazing. I'm very proud of her. I have already divided several plants out of the pot during the time I'm repotting it, so it's getting fuller and fuller all the time. So cute, and the flower all through the season. And the biggest leaf here is, let me quickly have a 5 cm long, and the normally smaller one could be the young ones more than 3 cm long. And have a look. Let's have a look at the flowers. These are the newly flowered. When it's getting to its end, it starts to look turn yellow. Orange, yellow, I would say mostly yellow. So let's do a care tips video, but I have to move these two plants outside first because it's too big for here to make the movie. Much bigger than when I bought it. Dischidia Ovata, watermelon Dischidia, is from Southeast Asia and north part of Australia, around the Pacific Ocean, which means they are used to acid soil and soft water. We should provide them this environment as close as possible. Starting with purchasing, please choose a plant with firm leaves and with really real roots, because there are many reasons why can make the leaves softer and curling, and it's better to be on the safe side and choose a healthy one to start with. And also, if you see in a bad conditioned shops, when the potting mix is completely dry out, leaves dehydrated and full of flowers, it's not because it's happy. Flowering could be his last try to survive, so please don't buy that. And first thing first, most important for me is light. I suggest close to the east facing or west facing window, but not directly on the windowsill in summer. I divide one plant out of the pot because they are so lush. I forget to retreat it from the west facing windowsill. For summertime, it's more than sunstress. It's almost gets sunburned, and it will be turned into a very dark purple red. If you like that and want to take the risk, you can try direct on the windowsill, but I would retreat them a little bit away. The main basket, I hang it 1 meter away from a big east-facing window, and it gets also nice sunstress from the summertime, and it's coming on all leaves if you have the right amount of light, not only on the new grown leaves. If I put it closer to the window, it will be red. So yes, and next is water. I don't do taco test anymore because, like I said before, there are many other reasons why the leaves could be soft. It could be lack of light. For example, very cloudy summer week could also do that other than winter days. So now I water when the potting mix is completely dry. Because I'm using quite airy potting mix, free drainage like most of us will do. When it's completely dried out, this pot, just lift the pot, it will feel very hollow. You will not mistake. If you are not sure, you can always wait another 1 or 2 days. Don't be afraid of a little bit dry out. And yes, this is a beginner's suggestion. Water, wait, completely dried out potting mix, water again. Here I have also some advanced water tips if you are interested. If you like thin, light leaves, instead of these very thick, heavy, meaty leaves, you can water it before the soil completely dry out, only when the new vines, when you feel it's getting weaker, not so firm, like just after you water it, you feel it weaker, not so straightforward, and the potting mix is not completely dry, then you water it. And the second way, if you enjoy the succulent feeling, thick, heavy, big leaves, like I mostly enjoy here, we will intentionally stretch the time between each water gradually. For example, the first week, I find the soil is completely dry 7 days after I last watered it. Then this time, after it's dried out, I wait another 2 days before I water it. This next round, I wait 4 more days until I water it to stretch this time distance between each water gradually until you are like water it every 2 weeks, 15 days, like twice a month give water. But don't risk it. If you feel pressure, just go back to regular water, soil dry, water again. But if you can control it, the nature will drive this watermelon Dischidia to store more water in the leaves, then you will achieve like these meaty leaves. I really enjoy it. So as you like. They are both beautiful and cute. And the next we go to humidity. As you can see here, in my place, I have most of the time between 40 and 60%, temperature 19 and lower than 30, for sure lower than 30. We don't need to buy a humidifier because of Dischidia, in my opinion. From 40 to 60 is in my place, but of course they enjoy high humidity. If you have a rain season, have over 90, they will survive like crazy. The leaves will be shining. Temperature is, I have between 19 and 22 in winter. They can live between 12 degrees until 30 degrees, 32. Under 12 degrees, we have the risk that it will fear, not immediately die, but fear. So be careful of this. And another thing to notice is, especially in winter when you are like under 0 degree minus outside, if in the house you have temperature under 18, and the humidity is too high, over 70. It is ideal environment for black molds to grow in a house, and around the plants is very unhealthy for both of us people and the plants. So I would say don't stretch too much to add a terrarium or humidify like crazy in winter when the temperature is also dropping. So be careful on this. Next is about mist. I always mist it. They enjoy mist, but please only mist on the leaves and air root. Don't mist on the surface of the soil. Then we are not giving benefits to the plants. We are growing benefits for the mealybugs. So, and I think mist is a very good thing when it comes to Hoya and Dischidia and similar plants, because that prevent us from overwatering it. As a beginner plant parent, we love it too much, so we get scared and worried always. Is it dry? Is it thirsty? Then we will intend to give water every time we pass it. So instead of watering it, pick up a mist and do some mist. There's no risk of root rot or drown the plants, and we can also have some methods to move the attention from water to other things, which is really good for me. Of course, if you have time to do a morning shower with soft water to wash out the built-up dust in daily life, is also perfect. Fertilizer. A lot of beginner plant parents in my place always concentrate on fertilizer, which is a little bit overstretched in my opinion, because as a houseplant, she doesn't know that she is a houseplant. In the nature, in her hometown, she grow like crazy. Then we need to add fertilizer in the faster growing season, late spring, summer. Not in hot summer, in fresh summer. But in the house, compare with her full potential. Actually, this is not, I would not call it grow like crazy. Compare in nature. So if you forget fertilizer, nothing. It's not a big problem. If you would like to use, I will suggest at least half a year after you purchase it, because normally the supplier already mixed a fertilizer in the soil. And then I suggest we use diluted bio all-purpose liquid fertilizer. Always half of the portion as suggested for first time you fertilize new plants. That's a standard thing. And artificial fertilizer is not magic powder. There's always something built up. There's always something you don't want to see. I'm not going to stretch this video too long, but either no fertilizer, give her enough light, let her build her own nutrition, or add very diluted liquid fertilizer. I personally go this way. Of course, I know there are a lot of people prefer to try the houseplants specific artificial fertilizer from the fancy package, but please dilute it. Soil mix. Soil mix is similar for Hoyas. Because my humidity in the house is not crazy high, it's normally under 60%, so I use 60% normal houseplants soil, and I add the rest 40% with different amendment. If you like perlite, also good. I add pumice and orchid bark about 40% of the soil. That's enough, and they are not picky on soil. I actually have other plants and also heard the main plants in the original soil from the shop for at least 3 months. They are not picky on soil. This is a plant who gets steady on the root, then will go briefly forward up the hill, upright on the tree trunk. So they are used to bare soil, not a big problem. And of course, if you have very high humidity at home or in the rain season outside, I would suggest add more orchid bark to make it completely free drainage soil. Otherwise, they still have the risk to rot if it's hanging in the pouring rain for like 2 weeks or longer. Pot. I use terracotta pot if I can, but in this hanging basket, I'm afraid it knock on my head, so I use also plastic pot. Not a big problem. They are not picky. And repot, please do it in before the faster growing season, the springtime. And you don't need to change to bigger pot if it's not root bonded like crazy, because it's also a cousin of Hoya. Slightly, or I would even say medium root bond is necessary for this plant to push out new growth. Otherwise, the privilege is to growing roots. If you plant the watermelon, Dischidia, and many other Hoyas in a big pot, beautiful portioned pot that is too big, they will focus all the nutrition and energy on growing roots. You will not see new pops or new leaves, which is unnecessary. So maybe only change the potting mix once a year, but the pot size, we don't need to increase each year, maybe 2-3 years later. And flower, as you can see, this lovely young lady flowered all through the season. Only take a break during the winter time. This is when they are fresh. They are in red, ruby red color. When it starts to get aged, it turns into yellow color. It's constantly flowered from I believe from April or May. Now it's September, but the flower is not, I will not say magnificently beautiful. So let's move to the next, propagating. Yes, you can always take a cutting with a little bit air root, like 1 cm under the node, then stick it into the houseplant's soil. It don't need to have water propagation. It does not need that. Of course, if you like, you can also water rooting it. And actually, I did not do cutting propagation. I only divide the plants. It grows so lush. If I don't take 1, 2, 3 plants out of this pot, I have to prune them. I have to cut back some leaves because they are totally blocking each other. So I just use the chance of depotting. I take this one out in another pot, then I take another 2 out, just let them grow. I think it's quite an easy, lazy way to propagate. How many more do I need, right? They are faster growers. And something different than most of other houseplants is they also like a stable life. Like I screamed so many times before about when I make videos of Hoyas. Don't move them around. Don't shake them around. it gives a serious shock. So even it looks like a beautiful waterfall of lovely leaves, I never shake them like a curtain and cute little tricks in front of the camera. I never do that. They will stop. They will take a pause, take a long time before they make sure the environment is safe and start thrive again. I think it's important. If you already decide the location in your room, for example, near the east window, then put it there the whole year. Don't change room to try to encourage the growth. They will do the opposite. So, but it's a little bit less sensitive than Hoyas. I would say that if you do transport it multiple times, don't panic. And also about this, so the first 3 weeks after you purchasing a watermelon Dischidia, please don't do cutting propagation. It needs time to recover. Pest. Never see any pest on her, but there's always the legends of mealybugs. Keeping soil, at least the topsoil, completely dry is very important. It's a dangerous suggestion for people to keep the soil moist. This is a dangerous expression. No. And don't miss the topsoil. You can also remove a little bit the topsoil after you bought the plants and replace them with little stones or sand, because on top of them has all the unnecessary bacterias and stop and dust, whatever from the shops. Remove them, replace them with covering material. That's good. And in general, fresh airflow at home is a good prevention for all the pests at home, regardless houseplants or not. And don't leave a bucket or a tablet of dirty water at home or in the night. It's paradise for pests. So if you see mealybugs, you can always remove it with a tip of alcohol to brush it out. Almost done here. Trellis or not trellis, that is a question. I did twice trellis, but I did not observe any benefit from trellis when it comes to watermelon Dischidia. My common Hoyas like trellis, so I just let them hang. Of course, you can do beautiful decoration with trellis. Easy question. Then the last, I want to talk about moving Dischidia outside for summer. First thing first, if you don't have disturbing safes and pocket picker and hässlich wild animals in the neighborhood, then we move it out. First 2 weeks, always in full shade. Not even the morning sun. They are from inside of the house. Inside of the house in general is called dark when it comes to gardening. Then 2 weeks later, we can move it better to the morning sun, early morning sun, and the rest of the day shade. It's bright enough for them. Later on, you can decide according to the feedback this lovely watermelon give you to less sun stress. Too much sun stress, then you can give a little bit more sun, but morning sun and afternoon shade is always ideal. And also, if you have, for example, in Japan, the whole July month was raining, I would not hang it every single day in this rain. It still have the risk have a root rot. please keep an eye on it. Don't dump it in the garden and expect it to survive. So thanks for watching, thanks for your patience, and I wish you have a lovely journey with watermelon Dischidia, and see you next time.